Good morning. Welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Raz11, and you can find me on X at Raz11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, the 11th of July. It is Thursday. We do have a 4-game day slate and a 7-game main slate this evening. It's a little early. Haven't seen any updates on weather throughout the day, so we'll just focus on pitching for what it is. Reminder that it is a first look at pitching, and will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you are on FanDuel, I would cut it into a half or even a third and focus on getting your stacks correct as pricing isn't quite as tight. Let's start at the top on this 4-gamer. We get Paul Skeens against the Brewers. Definitely in play. Has been phenomenal. I do have some questions about the spot for him, but we're not skipping over Paul Skeens. He is a minus 125 favorite. Game total of 7.5. K prop of 7.5 as well with juice on the over. Getting an extra day of rest coming into this one. Last start before the All-Star break for him. He is an All-Star. Might be pumped up a little bit about that. So, it's just a good spot, but I do have some worry against this Brewer squad that they're kind of pesky and annoying. A lot of 2-out hits. I think I saw a stat last night that they lead baseball in 2-out runs. It's not going to be the easiest of matchups, I don't think. But again, he's just been so great when he's been out there. No problem, spending up for him. Jack Flaherty has had a back issue. Might be a spot where I just play a conservative route and go really light. He was decent against Cleveland the first time. Didn't pick up the win, but he hasn't been as strong when pitching at home. Cleveland isn't a huge strikeout team. His K prop's 5.5, but juices on the under. It feels like one of his lower K props of the year at this point. He is a minus 135 favorite, though. Certainly an option for us, but I think I'd much rather, use Hunter Green against Colorado. Even though they did some damage against Montas, they have been striking out in this series. Hunter Green was just named an All-Star game replacement. Hard to not love him. Obviously, he has struggled a bit more at home, which is going to happen in this ballpark, but K numbers are pretty strong yet. Looking at his K prop at 8.5. Juice is on the under, but 8.5 is a ridiculously high K prop. He is a minus 198 favorite, so certainly in play for us. Mackenzie Gore and David Peterson. Not really interested in Peterson much, even though he's favored in the game. They are minus 142 favorites. Mackenzie Gore's K prop 6.5. Juice is on the under. Obviously, super low floor. He's made 2 starts against the Mets. One really strong one, and then one horrendous one. So that's something to pay attention to. He has been best when on the road, which is where he's at in this one. I'm playing him for the upside. Peterson, he has been showing some strikeouts. Problem is Washington doesn't strike out a ton. He's been solid against them in 2 starts, but he has just 4 strikeouts in 13 innings against Washington. He threw a quality start here against them. Didn't pick up the win and still put up less than 10 fantasy points. Quality start here against them. Got the win, just 13. I feel like we can pass on Peterson and feel okay about it. Might try to use Savali, but I don't really like him that much. Just gave up 3 home runs in his most recent start. I might use a little bit of Austin Gomber, to be honest with you. after seeing what Freeland did against Cincinnati last night, might sprinkle in some Gomber. Um, Feels dirty. I get it. Game total is pretty high, but might just be something, might be a way to get a little unique on that slate. Let's take a look at the main slate. We get Tanner Houck. We've been picking on Oakland. They have been scoring runs, but they've been striking out a ton. He's had a couple of rough starts in a row. Walks have crept up a little bit for Tanner. But K-prop is 6.5, juice on the under. He is a minus 218 favorite. Game total of 10 right now. But Tanner Houck absolutely dominated Oakland the first time he faced them. Hasn't been as great at home, but he's certainly capable. Tremendous upside. I'm going to be all about it. Same can be said about Luis Castillo. I'm going to be all about him here. Crushed against the Angels first time he faced them. Now, he hasn't been as strong on the road. That's always a worry with him. Home road splits. He hasn't been the big strikeout guy that we thought he might be. Just kind of settled into a pretty steady role. He is a minus 166 road favorite. K-prop of 6.5, so that's strong enough. Coming off of a really strong start after a rough stretch. Certainly going to be high owned by me at this point. Max Fried, I will use him some. I think Arizona has started to struggle a little bit against left-handed pitching. They shouldn't long term, but I think recently they have. Don't quote me on that for sure, but Fried's been better on the road, which is where he's obviously pitching here. K-prop of 4.5, not overly exciting. He is a minus 148 favorite. Game total of just 8. So I will definitely sprinkle in some Fried. Not really going to play Nola against the Dodgers, I don't think. I know the overall Dodger lineup has kind of become pretty weak, at least the bottom half, but I just don't know if I want to use Nola. That's something I'm going to have to think about as the day goes on. Kind of see what the weather is like in Philadelphia. I know last night the wind was blowing out to center at like 18 to 20 miles an hour. So again, something I'm going to have to dig into a little bit more before making a final determination on Nola. Nestor Cortez has made 2 pretty good starts against Tampa Bay this year. Problem is he's been pretty bad on the road. But I think we're going to go with him. I really don't like those home road splits for him, but he is a minus 120 favorite. K-prop of 5.5 with juice on the over. I think he's just in a better spot than Nola. So, Cortez is going to have to make my pool. Justin Steele, throwing the ball pretty well. The problem is he's taking out Baltimore. Do we really want to deal with that? I don't really want to. His K-prop's 5.5. He's a slight underdog. Game total is just 8.5, but still. I generally like left-handed pitching in Baltimore, but do we really want to pick on Baltimore? Not necessarily. So like Nola, I'm just going to dig into Steele's numbers a little bit more and maybe consider him. But right now, I would say that he's probably on the outside looking in when it comes to my pool. Might consider Albert Suarez a little bit against the Cubs. In that game, we know that Suarez is favorite over Steele and the Cubs. Suarez's K-prop is 4.5. Just is on the under, though. So he's not a big K guy, so that's a worry. But he's been phenomenal in pitching at home so far. So I think that's what might keep him in my pool. That's kind of it for guys I'm interested in. Shane Baz, maybe. It's still tough to pick on the Yankees. Maybe I'm just kind of blurred vision with the upside of Baz as he's returning from Tommy John. It looked decent enough in his first start. Wasn't spectacular by any means. I think those 3 runs came early, if I remember correctly, so he settled in. Um, Extra day of rest. He threw 92 pitches. I think he should be fine. Um, but I'll have to make a decision there a little bit. But um, Kochanowicz, I have to dig into his minor league numbers. Does look like he's thrown complete games in 2 out of his last 3 starts. See what kind of a K guy we're looking at. Obviously, 2 complete games in those 3 starts means he's lengthened out quite a bit. Uh, the big thing for me here is the fact that he's taking on a Seattle team that strikes out a ton. His K prop sitting at 4.5 right now. I wish I would have had time to pay attention and then maybe looked up his numbers a little bit, because if he's got some K upside, that K prop seems pretty low for this matchup. Like I mentioned with Castillo, though, Seattle is favored in this game, but if we find out Kochanowicz has some K ability, I'm interested because of that K matchup. So something to pay attention to, look into as the day goes on. But there we have it. There's the first look at pitching on the slate. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us and get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I will put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's RAZ, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.